Hi Libra, welcome to your general messages for the first 2 weeks of June 2020. Hope you guys are great. I'm going to be doing career read after relationship. I will timestamp. So if you're not interested in relationship, just check the description box below and pop forward to that. Okay, so we do have on, I'm going to be doing a separate video on all the astrology that's happening in June separately in a couple of days, so I don't want to make this too much about that, but I do want to mention that we do have that lunar eclipse in Sagittarius on June 5th, so you guys have it, you're going to have this 3rd and 9th house dynamic, right? Because you guys are kind of partners with Aries there energetically, right? So you guys are going to be having it in your 3rd house, Aries is going to be having it in the 9th house, but you guys work in tandem, right? So the 3rd house has to do with communication, it has to do with short distance travel, it's Mercury energy, natural home of Gemini, so it has to do with online communication, the way things, contracts, it has to do with anything like that, and then the 9th house has to do with comfort zone and belief system and all of that, right? So what's going to be happening here between you and Aries, it's like you're going to feel very kind of like a pagan, very like in a pagan energy, really wanting to break free from any sort of restrictions and restrictive ways of learning things, right? But you're going to be pulled out of your comfort zone in order to do that right now, right? So you want to think about your life, like what's been cracking the past 6 months, right? I mean, it's been weird for all of us, right? But whatever seed you planted at that last solar eclipse is going to be coming to fruition. So if something has been working out and you've been working on, solidifying something, that relationship, that career, whatever it is, it's going to become even more solid. It's going to be a really great energy for that, for the solidification. But at the same time, if there was something that's been like really strained or stressful, it's going to be time to release it, right? So let's see what we have. We're going to start with relationship. This energy can last up to 3 months. Lots of karmic burning off is going to be happening here. Lots of karmic burning off. So, King of Coins in reverse, 5 of Wands, upright. Okay, let's get this in. You're just going to be so in your belief system. I mean, it's going to be very front and center with you. We have the Hierophant, and I just mentioned, right, we have this 3rd and 9th house relationship going on with this lunar eclipse. And that would be the 9th house energy, his belief system. Okay, where did you want to go? Okay, I feel like I have to roll that one again. That's not fair. Ooh, Sun. Okay, so we have the Sun, we have Sag, and that's what, 3rd house. Ooh, 3rd house. Look at that. That's right where you're going to be feeling the eclipse the most. All right, well, why don't we talk about what these mean first? So why don't we talk about the Sun, okay? So the Sun here is where, where's your ego, for good or bad? Where's it getting in your way right now? So this is about really acknowledging any potential issue that you might have in that way, okay? Any ego issue you do want to, because remember, the Sun rules Leo, right? It rules the Strength card. And then we have the 3rd house. So the 3rd house is, this indicates that it's a time to work on how you can better reflect and what it is that you really want to say. This is asking you to kind of step away from social media and ignore for like a couple of minutes a day, right? Social media, getting too wrapped up in things, because this is a really good time to tune back into who you really are and the cadence of you. Really try to listen to your favorite music or some sort of meditation video or anything that's going to bring you back into balance with yourself is going to be really, really just very beneficial for you right now. And then we have the Sagittarius energy, which is, notice where you've built up walls and borders in your life, and really summons the curiosity and courage to pull them down, right? Whatever false narratives do you tell yourself or another person need to be looked at. So have faith and optimism in questioning your life and taking a more authentic path for yourself right now, for sure. having to do with relationship, right? Because this is specifically for relationship. So we have coming into this energy, recent past. Now, when I say that, could be last week, last month, last year. It's different for everyone, but this person would still be in your energy field. Wands are well, and when we have it in reverse, this indicates a lack of movement forward, but it's because this was not safe for you. And this does tell me that ego is an issue, because whenever we have a Leo energy reverse, there's egotism at play. And it's that egotism that gets in the way of feeling really connected and feeling safe to continue in something. So that could be, your ego may have been an issue, or the person that you were dealing with. It doesn't matter. This was the energy of the relationship coming into this point, right? Additionally, whenever we have a wand energy reverse too, because wands are very much a phallic symbol, you can have somebody who was maybe flirting irresponsibly with other people, who were needing their ego stroked from other people, and it was really giving you this very real feeling of not feeling very safe, right, in the connection. Okay, and then we have as the foundation, we have another king energy. My goodness, we have a king of coins. Whenever we have two kings next to each other and they're both reverse, there's a rivalrous tension that's happening within this connection. So, between you and a partner, there's some sort of rivalry here when they're both reversed like this. So we have the king of coins in the reverse. So again, now for relationship energies, I always understand the coins to be, could be resource, could be money, but it's also mental, physical, and emotional connection. So that would be communication, that would be intimacy, how you guys get along, in the day to day. How do you guys connect, And this being in reverse, it's an Aries and Taurus energy. This tells me that, first of all, you aren't feeling really good about yourself in this connection, right? Because it's Aries and Taurus. Aries is ruled by Mars. It's all about like this new path. So this idea of a new path. And then Taurus is being ruled by Venus. It's about self-esteem and love and relationships and fairness and all of this. And, so there might have been issues that were very unfair, having to do with money that didn't make you feel good, having to do with the general connection. It could be all of it. But there is this lack of moving forward right now within the connection, because it's an Aries energy in reverse. So it's not being able to see a new path right now. You have, more than anything, Libra, I feel like you're having a hard time envisioning yourself on a path with someone moving forward, like forever and ever kind of thing. Yeah, and it's being crossed by the Five of Wands. Five of Wands is a Saturn and Leo energy, more ego energy here, right? So 5 is the number of conflict, right? And Wands are well. So there's and motivation to move forward. So it's like you guys can't agree on what it is that you want to do. It's you guys are arguing about. It's a battle of the wills, really, in essence, is what it is, and who wants what in which way. And I think it's pretty interesting that we have this right atop 2 consecutive king reverses, which is about like this rivalrous kind of tension within the relationship. Crowning is we have the moon, and then we have the Queen of Swords as the foundation. So wow, pretty powerful energies here, I'd say. So we have the moon energy, which in tarot is associated to Pisces, and Pisces being ruled by Neptune. It's about being really, first of all, kind of secretive, right? Because the moon is I feel. In astrology, it's connected to Cancer, right? So it's a very strong water energy. It's very much I feel. The moon energy, I always understand this to be too, though, a lot of deep thinking going on internally. You might not be 100% honest with yourself about the reality of this relationship right now, Libra. You may not. I mean, you would know better. But the cards do indicate whenever we have a moon energy, it's feeling something very deeply, and not because you're ignorant, or not because you're not emotionally intelligent or anything like that, but because you don't know to see something. It's kind of like that. But it's also you doing a lot of thinking and feeling in private and really not exposing it to anybody. And because there's this inherent connection to Cancer, which is all about home, and it's the metaphorical home, which is connected to the Chariot, I always understand the moon also to be like what's in your mind is you're sort of thinking about a new path in your life, and you're trying to figure out, how am I going to make that happen exactly exactly? What do I have to do exactly? Or some of you may even be on that new path and you're like, all right, what do I need to do next? But I don't get that you're really talking about it. Queen of Swords. Queen of Swords, having somebody figured out as soon as they walk in the room, before they even open their mouth. Yeah, Virgo and Libra energy. So the swords, it's a Virgo energy because Virgo is ruled by Mercury. So it's swords, there's truth. There's a lot of thinking going on. There's thinking about relationship, right? Because it's Virgo and Libra. Libra is that 7th house of relationship and marriage, right? And you're thinking about what's fair, what's not fair. You're also thinking about moving forward and what is the best move for you. Because Virgo being ruled by Mercury, keep in mind, like Mercury, when it comes to alchemy, is associated with Quicksilver, which is a transformative energy. So this is like, you know, the conversations happening, the truth coming out, you looking at the fairness of the situation within the relationship, and you really figuring out, how am I going to move forward in this? And you being very, very front and center with the reality of the situation. And you really don't want to be told what to do right now either. You really don't. I mean, I did mention in the beginning, I'm getting this very heavy pagan vibe for you, male and female included. Okay, very heavy, heavy pagan energy having to do with communication. And what does that mean? Pagan, what? It's like this wanting to break free from something that you're being forced to conform to. A way of thinking, a way of learning, a way of adapting, and you just really kind of wanting to break free. I'm getting that very strongly. You, representing you and only you, we have the Two of Cups energy within this relationship. This is Venus in Cancer. So what I like about this is, like, whatever you're going through in your relationship, Libra, I feel like inside of you, you feel okay. You're feeling okay. Venus in Cancer, because again, Venus, yeah, it's love, yeah, it's money, but it's also self-esteem and value. And Cancer has to do with that metaphorical home space and safety. So it's like you're really, I'm almost getting a very sort of like Uranus vibe here, right? Really working the Uranus energy that's available to you right now, where you sort of like, you're like at one time, on one hand, you know you want to do things your own way. You're identifying where there's some sort of rivalrous nonsense going on within this connection. You're very focused on the truth. You're very focused on your truth, and you're very focused on you want to work something out with somebody, but you're only wanting to work it out if it's gonna make you feel good, because Venus is there. If it's gonna make you feel safe, because Cancer is there. That's where you're at within this relationship. The external energy has to do with the Ace of Cups reverse, which indicates the energy external to you. This is, again, it's not you, it's somebody saying, no, you know, I'm not willing to do that. This is this new beginning not happening within the relationship. This is something, now for some of you, this can actually be a false start, meaning maybe you just kind of got into this relationship and you experiencing some disappointment because they're not who they presented themselves to actually be. For others of you who've been in a relationship for a long time, this does indicate them realizing like you dealing with an energy that is just not willing to change. They're just not willing to do it. And fear for you, it's like you want it, but they don't want it in the same way. And then we have the Temperance is in your fear, which is about compromise. So temperance is all about what do you need, what do they need, what does the relationship need, right? It's a Sagittarius energy, so it's like, and it's connected to Taurus. So it's like in a very grounded and practical way, dealing with belief systems, what's fair and what's not fair, really. And then we have this Five of Swords. Five of Swords, I don't hate this energy at all, even though it's a 5, and 5 typically indicates conflict. The Five of Swords is less a conflict and more of a discussion, okay? And it's a Venus and Aquarius energy, right? So Venus is like, obviously it's, you know, what makes you feel good. It's love, it's all of that. And Aquarius, though, is about what are we doing here now? Okay, we need to do it differently. And having that conversation about how things are going to be done differently and really tapping in the near future. We have the Hierophant tapping into belief system, tapping into, you know, your set of beliefs, their set of beliefs, and the perceptions that you each have and the understandings that you each have of the relationship. Now, the Hierophant energy is connected to Taurus, which is ruled by Venus. I like that. It's also associated to Sagittarius, which is about ruled by Jupiter. It's about luck and expansion and moving forward. But what's very necessary here is to understand you're dealing with a very stubborn energy here, Libra. If you are resonating with this at all, right? And you're going to be realizing this with the sun. The sun's really going to be impacting you here. And you're going to be really understanding where your ego has been an issue. Because, listen, we all have something, right? And then maybe holding a mirror up to you, but you dealing with somebody who maybe not as willing as you are. But like Sagittarius is ruling the day here. We got the Hierophant, we have Sag here, which is, you know, the great archer energy, which is about belief systems, right? And you guys having those conversations, those third house conversations, right? Because it's all, third house is all about communication. It's having the communication. And it's thinking and it's communicating. So I do feel like while you're dealing with, you have your own sense of stubbornness, you have your own sense of really thinking very deeply about a different path for yourself. You're there, but yet you have this energy that's in front of you. And you don't not want to be with this person. You just don't want to be, you don't want to continue on the trajectory that you guys have been on. So if you're resonating with this, I'm getting that you don't want there to be rivalry within your connection. You want everybody to bring equal amounts to the table as far as responsibilities and resources and all of that. You know, you want all of that, but you need to work that out with somebody who's equally willing. You're afraid that it's not going to happen, but I see the conversation happening. And I do see your belief system ruling the day. More than anything is your belief system is going to be the deciding factor. Okay, now, you know, I don't want to confuse you here, but, you know, the Hierophant, you know, is a Sagittarius energy. Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. Jupiter is attached to the Wheel of Fortune. And the Wheel of Fortune really is a very destiny-driven energy. So this is really going to be a very different outcome for all of you. But what's not going to be different is that it's going to resonate with your belief system. So if this person cannot face the fact that there does need to be this new beginning, you may very well get into the space of like, you know what? There's not going to be compromise here, and I'm not willing to be in this anymore. And a lot of you guys are just going to be like, karmic burn, take it easy. Not saying it's going to be that simple, but that's ultimately what you're setting yourself up for, all right? Because this is going to take a few months to roll out, obviously. Others of you, you may be realizing that you're dealing with a very stubborn energy, but with the Five of Swords conversation, they end up coming around. It would be illogical to say that every single Libra is going to have the same outcome in a general reading on YouTube, right? But so that's why I try to give the different interpretations. So I do see some of you guys dealing with a very challenging energy, but in the end, you guys allowing your mutual belief system rule the day, and you realize that you want to work it out. But again, the Hierophant energy really is ultimately, it is tangentially connected to the Wheel of Fortune, which is a destiny-driven energy. So I don't even want to pull any oracles on this, right? Because when I have destiny here, I feel like the oracles can end up giving false messages and false hope to people. So it really is more, guys, it's more for you about not keeping your voice quiet, being super true to yourself, right? Keeping your own ego in check, embracing your own belief system. You have to have this healthy communication. Don't be afraid to open your mouth. It's super important to communicate and recognize if you're dealing with somebody who is on equal footing to you in the relationship, you know? And that is what I have for my Libra friends for relationship. Now let's go to career for Libra. Okay. Let's go to career for Libra. Career for Libra. Okay. Messages for Libra for career. Emperor, like it. Six of Cups, okay. Okay, the World. Get these major arcanas, hello. All right, something's ending. Something's ending, something's beginning. Let's throw the dice. Let's see what's up. Okay. We got Neptune. 10th house of career. Sag again. Okay. Sag is in the south node right now too. So there's a lot of karmic burning off. There's a lot of karma going. You're going to be very confused though right now having to do with your career, you know. Again, we got Sag just the same ways we just did in the relationship read. So you really need to see, even in career, where have you built up borders in your life, right? And you really need to identify where you've maybe been inciting, creating, whatever it is, any kind of false narratives, you know, that you might tell yourself or other people. But you really need to have faith and optimism in questioning life and taking more of an authentic path. Having to do really with both your relationships and your career right now, Libra. Yeah. And then we have the 10th house. So the 10th house energy is, you know, 10th house does rule your career, and you're being asked to trust your own self-sufficiency. And what would it take for you to believe that you truly got this and that no one can take it away from you, and that the wisdom gained from the life skills that you've mastered up to this point are really meant to serve you, you know? It's like, you know, we say with this energy, it's like you are the CEO of your own life, you know? You really are, you know, your own path. So, you know, write a list of guidelines and best practices for a brand new you right now. Having to do with career, I think, would be really, really helpful, right? And then we have Neptune. So something may seem very unclear right now because it's not supposed to make sense just yet. So remember, on the other side of logic does lie divine wisdom. So I do see that happening for you, having to do with your career. So in the recent past, we have the World. Hello. So the World is a Saturn energy. So it means you were working really, really hard in the past. You were working really hard, and you had a very specific goal in mind, right, with the World energy. But it is a Saturn card. So like, it wasn't the easiest road for you, but you were getting there, and you were lining things up for yourself energetically, and you were working very actively towards something. And that was very clear. And the situation right now is we have the Emperor energy, which I really like because this is a new path. The Emperor is the leader of the zodiac, of the tarot, right? It rules Aries, which is the leader of the zodiac, right? So this is about leadership, taking that chance, putting a fresh perspective on something old, starting something brand new, a brand new initiative. And what I love about this energy, though, is that it is very reliable, and it's very, I'm going to say this, there's a safety to it. Now, for some of you, you may not vibe with that, depending on what else is in your chart, right? You may not vibe with that, where you may not want something that's, because this is like a steady thing. This is something that's safe. There's a safety to the Emperor energy. But what's being crossed is something from the past. So I'm going to read this a couple of ways because it's going to be different for some of you than for others. For some of you, you may be finding safety in something that you used to do, but the message here is don't do it. Don't go back there. It's meant to stay in the rearview mirror. It is not meant to be on your path. There's a reason it's back there. Do not re-engage with it. Having to do with your career. If this has to do with an idea that you had once upon a time and you plan on approaching it from the same perspective as you did back then, don't do it. If you're going to approach it from a different perspective, then by all means do it. The retrograde energies are actually a great energy to do that in. And we just have a lot of retrogrades going on. So that's going to resonate with some of you. For others of you, you have this new opportunity, but you're being pulled into something from the past. Perhaps a way of thinking, perhaps something that you had going for you in the past and you want it to be like that again, but there's change here and you don't want to let go of that. And that was kind of what I was talking about too, as far as like, feeling very pagan and wanting to break free from something that you need to do. It's like, Libra, I get that a lot of you are going to be pulled onto this path that's very like more reliable, but you're going to be like resisting it, having to do with career, because you really don't want to do something. And we do have the Six of Swords, and the Six of Swords is about moving away from toxicity to something that's a lot healthier for you, even if only in your mind right now. Even if only in your mind, because that's the thing with the Six of Swords. If you can't incite the change right now, you're at least there mentally. And then we have the Queen of Cups as a foundation. I like this. This is really good, Gemini and Cancer. Yeah, I like it. Gemini is, again, attached to Mercury, which from an alchemical perspective is attached to, it's a transformative element, right? There's a transformative through communication. And what I like here is the Cancer. The Cancer is going to bring safety. It's going to bring there being like this metaphorical pocket of energy that you're going to be finding yourself in, having to do with career, where you're like, yeah, you know what, this is the right thing. And that's the foundation. So you're moving away from something toxic and you really want to move towards something that is just resonates a lot more with you. And right now you're very confused. Mars in Aries, you're like, well, what do I do? You're cross purposes. This is the card of cross purposes. So, wands are... swords rather are truth, and it's communication, but it's truth, right? So think of it like you're being crossed by two truths. Should I continue doing this, or should I do that? Should I not do either of these things and then do these other two things, or do these other two things? And it's really needing to make a decision and not making it just yet. You're not making it just yet. I don't see in June. It's you really thinking through everything and really trying to figure out, okay, right? Because it's a moon in Libra energy. So moon is I feel, and Libra here having to do with career as we attach it to Venus, because Venus is a money planet. It's also self-esteem, and it's you really getting in touch with how you feel, Libra, with yourself. You really getting in touch with, what do I really, really want? What do I really want? And not having that answer straight out of the gate. The external energy to you is the Queen of Wands. So because it's a core card, we have to interpret it as either a person or just an external energetic influence. So if this is a person, this is a Pisces and Aries energy, this is somebody who comes in and offers you something that is going to pull you onto a new path, and that's going to really address at least in some part, something that you've been dreaming about. So there is a lot of passion here and a lot of energy in this person. They're very excited, they're full of life, and they have a new path to offer you. If this is just an energetic influence, it's you recognizing that there's this new path that speaks to your integrity a lot more, that you really know, you're feeling very pulled to go on. You're feeling very passionate about following your dreams in a different way. And then the energy that's here that's indicative of your fear is the Ace of Swords in reverse. So yeah, but this, again, because it's your fear, it doesn't mean that it's real. It just means that you're afraid of some sort of something not being what it presents itself as. You're afraid of there not being this resonance really with what it is that you're going into, right? Because it's an air energy, and air is all about truth, and it's about reality, and it's about communication, right? And in reverse, you're questioning, are those things going to be there? Is there going to be truth in that for me on my path? I'm really saying, really questioning. Because right now you're very afraid. But we have the Three of Wands, and we have the Tower. So we have the Three of Wands reversed, Sun in Aries in reverse. So this tells me that whatever new path that you have, whatever path you have yourself on right now is not where you're supposed to be. And there's an ending. Something is going to be coming to light. Now, this is the thing. Before you flip out, don't, right? Because listen, it's the ebb and flow of life. Not everything can last forever. There is going to be something illuminated, and there's going to be a tearing down. Now, this could be of a job opportunity, for sure. It can be, where you're finally once and for all saying, you know what I've been doing is no longer my truth. It's no longer my path. I have to let it go. It's not going to be easy. Whenever we have the Tower energy, it's not easy. Right? But it's happening because there's this lack of recognition. Because whenever we have the Three of Wands in reverse, it's like somebody is not recognizing you. Somebody who can help you is choosing not to, and it's getting in your way. It's actually getting in your way. So you're not able to have this movement forward. You're realizing, and maybe it's the COVID-19 situation, the pandemic, and you have to reassess what it is that you do for a living and realize, I can't do that anymore. It's time for me to close. It's time for me to take a different path. For some of you, it's going to resonate like that. For others of you, this could be recognizing that the way you've been doing a job is not on your path moving forward, but something becomes illuminated with the Tower. And because of that illumination, something needs to be torn down. And it can be your belief system. It doesn't have to actually be a job. It can be the way that you've been approaching your career, approaching work in general, where you need to get in and really update your value system and your perspective in a way that better serves you. Because remember now, and I always try to mention, the Tower is associated with Mars, which is linked to the Chariot, which is linked to Cancer, right? And what does all that mean? Ultimately, Cancer is that metaphorical home space. Don't we all want that? We all want that in career. We want that in relationship. We want that pocket where we're like, yeah, this is where I belong, right? We all want that, right? Chariot pulls us away from toxic situations and onto that path. But we need Mars to come in and shake things up and saying, wake up. Flip the lights on, pull up the blinds and say, this isn't working for you. And we're going to take this apart because this is not meant for your greater good. Even though it's going to hurt now and you're going to be confused and it's not going to be fun in the moment, ultimately where you're going to end up on the other side of this is where you're meant to be. Now, what you need to make sure, though, with the Tower energy is that you don't put up a ton of energetic blocks, right? Going back to that Sag energy, paying attention. You don't want to create any sort of false narratives for yourself. You don't want to put up any walls and any energetic blocks that are going to not only allow, but in this energy, incite these new ideas, these new changes from coming in. So I do see a lot of change for you in the cards, Libra, when it comes to career. There is no question. Whether it's that you're going to be changing careers altogether, or whether it's that you need to completely change the way you approach work, and your belief system, though, what I'm talking about, your belief system. And I do feel you resisting this with this pagan energy. I do feel you resisting it, and you want to really, know going into this energy. This is not happening just yet, right? Going into the energy that you're going to feel very front and center, being challenged with communication in your belief system. And it's okay. It's temporary. It's part of the growing process, okay? So, I do see that what I like about this, and I always like the Tower, because the Tower makes us make the changes that we're just simply not brave enough to make for ourselves. It's the kind of thing where if we've known that we were supposed to make that change and we've been, kicking and screaming or avoiding or whatever it is, we all do that from time to time. This is where the energy comes in to help us out, because it's not meant for us. We're meant for something better. Yeah. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. I will be getting the June astrology video out within the next couple of days, as well as that Black Moon Lilith video that I've been promising you guys. Until then, guys, stay safe, stay healthy. See you then. Bye-bye.